Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the digital stage of Delphi Forum. I'm Apostolos Magiriadis. I'm a news anchor and a political correspondent with Sky TV. And I'm happily joined with Mrs. Katrina Lowes in London. Katrina is the head of customer and partner co-creation at the Vodafone Group. Hello, Katrina from Athens.
Hello from London, and it's a great pleasure to be with you this afternoon.
We're here to talk on technology and the future of healthcare. I sense it's one of the most interesting topics of the current situation. We do want to see more of how the technological solutions are keeping us healthier and safer. And allow me to begin our discussion with a recent survey from the World Health Organization. It's mentioned inter alia that COVID-19 continues to disrupt essential health services in 90% of the countries, with millions of people missing out on vital healthcare. How do you think digitization of health services could assist to address this kind of challenges during and the post-COVID era?
Well, there is no doubt that these are unprecedented times, and we've seen such extreme pressure put on health services all the way across Europe. And I think the pandemic's really put a spotlight on just how fragile our health services are today. We've seen fantastic heroes in our healthcare professionals, and I think the worrying trend that we're seeing is not just how are we going to cope with the aftermath of COVID-19, the people that have now got additional symptoms having suffered the virus. How are we going to address the backlog of people that didn't get treatment because they were suffering from issues that were not COVID-19 related? And we've recently put a white paper out there that has some really quite startling facts in it. First of all, more than a fifth of the European population is over 65, and that's going to grow significantly towards 30% of the population by 2025. So we've got an aging population. We've seen 3 times as much growth in conditions like obesity and diabetes. They lead to heart problems, which is one of the largest killers across Europe today. So digitalization has to help us find new ways to treat more people in a more inclusive way, because we can't just keep on doing the same things and trying to be more efficient and to stretch those resources across the population. We've got to take a step back, look at what we've learned during COVID, rapid adoption cycles, organizations coming together across the countries to solve problems like finding a vaccine, like introducing telehealth and virtual doctor appointments. How are we going to build on those new changes in behavior to bring healthcare to Europe in a way that includes more people?
Right. Could you explain a little bit more on how digitization of health services deal with this situation? And are there any use cases from EU or Greece in this scope?
So digitization, because connectivity is getting broader and more people have access to online services, we've seen some really fast growth of people being comfortable having a doctor's appointment like you and I are talking now in front of a computer screen instead of in an office. That means less people need to be traveling. Doctors can see more patients in the same amount of time than they would if you went to the traditional surgery. Similarly, we can include a broader group of the population. So particularly in Greece, where we've got rural populations, people based on islands, not just out in the countryside. So they can take many days to travel to a regional health centre. One of the use cases that we're particularly proud of is in Vodafone Greece. We have a company called Vodafone Innovus. They created a telemedikit, really, a kit that health professionals can take to rural citizens and do proactive healthcare. They can do vital sign checks, they can communicate with a regional health centre and start to give diagnosis and treatment faster than if the patient had to take that considerable journey, sometimes by boat, over to the regional health centres. And I think that growing confidence that not only does the patient feel like they're getting faster treatment, the healthcare professional feels like they're giving a better standard of care where the patient needs it. It's an improvement for both the healthcare providers and the citizens and the patients.
That's very optimistic, I guess. What challenges should we address during this journey in EU level, and what is your feedback from the telemedicine program in Greece?
So I'd say the challenges that we have an opportunity to overcome are how do we take some of these temporary behaviours and make them permanent? And I think there are three different areas that we need to look at. First of all, how do we change the behaviours of the healthcare professionals? How do we give them training? How do we help them to adopt the new tools that digitization brings to them? Secondly, how do we change the processes and procedures in the healthcare system to make it faster to adopt these technologies and to sort of include more people? And the third area is how do we make sure that our citizen behaviour changes? How do we all become more proactive in taking responsibility for our own healthcare? And that comes through better education. So, policymakers, technology companies, local governments, we've all got an opportunity to work together to make sure that we keep building on the behaviour change that we've seen. And quite frankly, in the last 12 months, we've seen some of the biggest behaviour changes in citizens than we've seen ever before. So, people feeling more comfortable to use technology in their healthcare routines. People using step trackers and getting involved in online exercise. So all of the signs are there that if we can come together, look at how we train our healthcare professionals to use the technology more effectively, how we change our policies to make it easier, and how we educate people so that the technology and the humans come together.
Finally, Katrina, do you sense that the COVID-19 pandemic has served as an accelerator for those changes that you just described, both for the people at our level and also for companies to somehow digitally transform that area?
I think, there's no doubt that the European Resilience and Recovery Fund is a great opportunity here. It will bring together different parties that can have technology expertise, can bring together connectivity and communication expertise, and can bring together that health expertise. And by those three groups coming together, I really think we can make a big difference for citizens and for healthcare providers.
Very nice, and it's a very optimistic sign, I guess. Katrina, thank you very much for being with the Delphi Forum this year. Hopefully next year we'll have you here together.
Thank you.